And there's always a book on branding by deChernatony. So you are always present in my life, which is nice. And from now on, there are people here that are already working on the branding field. In the end, you will find that much with his papers, and most of all today and tomorrow we are going to spend, I would say, spend the weekend, or at least part of the weekend, and I am sure that you are going to spend a terrific moment with Professor Leslie deChernatony. He is very well known by his investigation, by the books he writes, but especially you are going to see how he is a terrific communicator. And you are going to love the way he does it. And you are going to love this weekend. So, I'm saying two things. First, enjoy. Second, learn. There's much to learn about this subject and with this big friend of mine, if I am allowed. So, people, enjoy yourself with Leslie deChernatony. Welcome. Thank you very much for being here. And hope you enjoy too being with my people. My pleasure. As you know, I would love to be here, but you know that I have 25 students waiting there for me. Okay?
That's no problem. Sorry, one thing. It's over there. It's over there. Terrific. Okay, it was just a chalk and an eraser. It's there. Perfect. Very warm welcome, everybody. Okay. Good. Hello! Hello?
Hello.
Thank you. Good, I've got an audience. Ladies and gentlemen, it really is a pleasure to be here. Professor Ronaldo Coelho and I have spent many years working together, and also it is an absolute joy to work with somebody as efficient and as organised as Isabel is here. Seriously, you just don't know how lucky you are to have Isabel's great ideas coming through. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to do two things with you on this programme. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce you to the principles of brand management. So I'm going to lay the foundations. We will be looking at that today and part of tomorrow. So my first objective, ensure you've got a good understanding of the principles of brand management. That's my first goal. Having created a solid foundation, I'm then going to take you into the area where the directors and the chairman sit. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at strategy. We're going to look at how do we strategically build and protect brand. So I've got two objectives. My first one is to lay the foundations of the principles of brand management. My second objective is to ensure that you can strategically build and protect brand. So two big goals for today's session. Now, how are we going to do it? What we're going to do is, in the principles part of the programme, first of all, I'm going to talk about what do we mean when we talk about brand. So I want to spend some time really understanding the concept of what you mean by brand. Now, as a strategist, I love reading history, because when you start looking at the historians, they really understand what strategy is. You know, you start looking at people like Genghis Khan, Julius Caesar, Alexander the Great, and Napoleon. You know, these people really understood strategy. But the one thing they really understood was, if you're going to attack an opposing army, you ensure that you have total cohesion. You ensure that all your regiments are aligned. That is one of the fundamental principles of strategy, of military strategy. Unfortunately, the managers I work with have never even thought about this. So what we're going to do is I'm going to teach you how we make sure that our resources are focused and they are aligned. They are aligned. They work together. I don't want this. Those brands that succeed, they succeed because they've understood coherence and alignment. So we're going to look at the area of brand coherence. What we're then going to start to do is then start to understand the different types of brands that we have out there in the marketplace. And then I want to make sure that on Monday you go back to the office and when you're asked, so what did you learn? You can say, what I learned was how to make my brands really profitable. Yeah? Serious folks, at the end of the day, branding costs money. But brands give a phenomenal return on investment. So from a tactical perspective, if I start to look at the literature, if I start to look at case studies, we can then start to see how to start to make my brands become really, really profitable. So I'm going to spend some time talking with you about brand success. Now what I'm going to do though is I'm going to really say, ladies and gentlemen, I put my hands up, I've got a real problem. I've got a real problem. About 6 weeks ago I went to buy a new car. And I looked at VW and I looked at Toyota. And quite frankly, when you look at those cars, they are unbelievably similar. They really are. Now I see a car as an evil necessity. My definition of a car is 4 pieces of rubber with a very intelligent computer. Because that's what I've got. I just didn't care when they were trying to sell. I really wanted the computer. And I've got an incredible internet access facility with superb sat-nav, incredible reversing capability. It's not quite a Google car yet, but I came as close as I could to it. Because in the UK, unlike you in Portugal where you've got fantastic roads, we specialise in traffic jams. Yeah? Now, there's my point of difference. And my point of difference is when you compare and contrast the VW sat-nav system with the Toyota sat-nav system, the Toyota sat-nav system is terrific because what it does is it senses flow. And when the flow breaks guidelines, it then comes up with a little message that says, there's a high likelihood there's a traffic jam ahead. Do you want me to put another route up? And I just touch my screen and it puts another route up. Am I worried about the acceleration? No. Am I worried about top speed? No. But you just start looking at the way cars are marketed and they go on about acceleration and top speed. And you just think, get real. Get real. There's a point of difference. And the point of difference is it's all about the computer. Oh, by the way, it's inside a car. And that's where I'm going to come. I'm going to start thinking differently with you. Because the problem, the problem we have is brands are becoming more similar than dissimilar. And then what we're going to do, really, is when we're looking at the principles of brand management, if I'm going to talk to you about brand profitability, brand profitability comes about because I put something in to the components that might cost me €1, but by the time I then resell it to you, I might be charging you €10. So I've got €9 added value. And I want to spend some time talking about, so how do I get added value? Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is what we're going to cover in the principles. So between now and roughly halfway through tomorrow morning, we will have gone through those points. And that's my first objective. Yeah? We'll then say, great, we're all done. Now I've got the principles, yeah? That's the aim of it. Is that okay? Now, I thank Isabel, I thank everybody here, because you've all got copies of the slides, yeah? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to add the value. I'm here to add the value. And what I'm not going to do is to go through every slide by pushing the button. What I'm going to do is within each of these sections, I am going to take, thank you, anybody else short? Yeah. So, who was it? Short, there you go. What I'm going to do within each of those sections is I'm going to take, to my mind, the core, the central slides. I'm going to bring it to life with lots of examples. I'm going to try and use the internet to bring this thing to life as well. And as I say, I'm here to add value. What I'm not going to do is I'm not going to go through every single slide. Now, you mustn't think, oh no, go see Arnaldo, quick! This guy's a thief! He's claiming something, but he's stealing our time! Absolutely. Yeah. What's happening is, you've got the detail. It's the detail that I'm not going to be going through. Yeah? You know, I'm very much a big pictures man. Very much a big pictures man. And that's where I'm coming from. Now, as you probably gathered by background, I'm not an academic. I'm like you. I'm a real person. I'm happily married to the most gorgeous wife you could ever imagine. 2 young adults, 32 and 30. But I started life as a manager. By training, I'm a physicist. My first degree is physics. I moved instantly into marketing. And you may pose the question, how can a physicist move straight into marketing? It's very simple. In physics, there's an awful lot of mathematics. And my very first job was working on a little brand called Cadbury's. And what I was doing was I was building models, mathematical models. So if we increased advertising by 5%, what was the impact on ROI going to be? If we changed the distribution network, what would the impact on brand be? Yeah? So I started life as a manager, as doing it. Yeah? I spent 8 really enjoyable years. But by the time I was in my 8th year, I was rising, and I very quickly realised that a degree in physics is great, but it don't cover much marketing. So I moved. I moved to the university sector, and I became a lecturer at the Cranfield School of Management, and at the same time I did my PhD part-time. My PhD is in branding, and surprise, surprise, my PhD is very mathematical, but that's not a problem. I understand it. The person that typed it out didn't understand it, but not to worry. I speak English all the time. And, after 8 years industry, being able to teach MBAs was a joy, because you could then start to relate to the real world. So what you're going to get is you're going to get practical theory. You're not going to get esoteric theory, you're going to get practical theory. Now, why did Michael Jackson, when he was alive, why did Michael Jackson brand one of his CDs with the title Bad? A very successful CD. Why did Michael Jackson call that CD Bad? Come on, bright people.
I think it was the major success of Michael Jackson, the music band. That music was very musical and all of that.
Absolutely, absolutely.
It was a success.
Yeah, it was a great success, wasn't it? Now look what he did. He turned a word around. He turned a word around and then gave it a totally different meaning. Folks, that's what I'm going to do. Yeah? The real reason why Michael Jackson called it bad was he couldn't spell. And he found the word awful very difficult to spell. Yeah? So he just called it bad. But if you like, I'm a Jackson fan, and I really am. My wife and I both dance, we do jive. And I've got nothing but respect for Michael Jackson. As an artist, this guy was par excellence. There is no doubt about it. And if you like, I'm his understudy, because I am bad. And I really hope you start to appreciate why being bad makes me a little bit different. But what I'm able to do is in some way start to add the value. So I've introduced. Is that okay? You all understand where we're coming from? We'll be breaking for, I'm in Portugal, coffee. Where I'd be at home, I'd be saying we'd break for tea. We'll be taking breaks throughout the programme. You're also going to work in syndicate groups. And tomorrow you're going to work on the case study, Innocent. Again, just look at that name. Would you ever call a brand innocent? Of course you wouldn't, so they did. Yeah? So I'm bad and they're innocent. And we're always just trying to do things that are like this. I'm going to show you a really successful confectionery brand, and it's called Filthy. Now, you just don't go calling a confectionery brand filthy. You do if you've got what I call a big idea, and that's where we're going to come from. So, is that okay? All makes sense? Yeah? Oh, by the way, I apologise, I can't speak Portuguese. Serious. If you don't understand my English, please, you're not dumb, I'm dumb. So please, if you don't understand, stick your hands up and just say, Leslie, can you explain again? It's not a problem. And also, by the way, I'm called Leslie. My birth certificate says Leslie. It doesn't say Professor. Yeah? How about Leslie? Yeah? Is it okay? Terrific. Let's make a start. Let's make a start, and we're going to get into the first part of the programme, the nature of brands. In the first part of the programme, the nature of the brand. Hello, Sheppy. What's a brand? What's a brand? Define for me a brand. Okay, so what is a brand? A brand is something that defines a product. Lovely, well done. That's a really good start. So, we're starting now to look at the nature of brands. Key question, what is a brand? Good start here, what is a brand? A brand is something that is all about a product. It's all about a product. Our friend's absolutely right. Yeah? If you compare and contrast the economies of Portugal with the economy of Brazil, are they similar? No. Okay, what's the difference? Somebody said? Size. Size comes through, absolutely. But what happens is, I can broaden this thing, because what's happening is more and more, we in Portugal are moving towards being a services-based economy. Yeah? If you look at economic evolution, we've gone from an agrarian economy to a product economy to a services economy, and now if we go to Shanghai, now if we go to California, we now go into elite services and we become an information economy.